Welcome to Lesson 2 of Microsoft Excel 2010. In this lesson, we are going to take a look at relative and absolute cell addressing, or relative and absolute cell referencing. Firstly, let's look at relative cell addressing. When a formula or a function contains cell referencing, such as B3 or C3, the cell references are relative to the cells where the formula or the function is typed. When copying a formula function from one cell to another, the formula or function moves one or more cells relative to the original cells. The use of the relative cell referencing means that the formulas or the function automatically adjusts itself when copied. In this example, we're looking at the customer invoice of TANS Computers. In cell D7, we are going to type in a formula that is going to calculate the total cost of all three keyboards that were purchased. The formula is going to be equals to the quantity which is contained in cell B7 times the price which is contained in cell C7. I type in the formula in cell D7 and I press the enter key. So the total cost of the keyboards will be the quantity times the price, and we typed in the formula equal to B7 times C7. Now I am going to copy this formula using the fill handle to the other cells. And if we look at cell D8, the formula now has recalculated or automatically adjusts itself to B8 times C8. In cell D9, the formula is B9 times C9. And in cell D10, the formula now is B10 times C10. So that is an example of relative cell addressing. Let us look at absolute cell addressing. There are times when we do not want the cell reference to change when we copy a formula or function. In these cases, we use absolute cell referencing. An absolute cell reference is a cell reference that will not change when the function or formula is copied. To make a cell reference absolute, we use a $ before the column letter or the row number. So once again, just to reiterate, we use the $ to make a column and a row absolute. The $ must come before the column that you want to make absolute, and it must come before the row that you want to make absolute. Looking at our example here, we're looking at a cashier's payroll, and each cashier is paid 25 rands per hour. So the hourly rate is 25 rands per hour, and we have a column that has the number of hours worked by each employee. So R. Naidu has worked for 39 hours in the week, and we want to calculate R. Naidu's weekly wage. The weekly wage will thus be 39 hours times the hourly rate, which is 25 rands. So I'm going to type in the formula here equal to cell C8 times, and I want to make this cell D3 absolute. So I type $D $3. So cell D3 is now an absolute cell, and that cell is going to remain constant or absolute if I copy the contents of cell D8 down to D9, D10, and so on. I press the enter key and I have my weekly wage for R. Naidu. Now let us copy this formula down for the rest of the employees. I have calculated the weekly wages of M. Kutsia, Z. Zuma, E.R. Shabalala, N. Mlochwa, and M.S. Ngubane. Let us look at what is the formula contained in cell D9. So if you look at the formula bar, is equal to C9. Remember, C9 is not absolute, it is relative, times $D$3. That means this cell here is remaining constant or is remaining absolute. So that is an example of absolute cell addressing. That is the end of lesson 2.